Hmm? Hmm?
I am standing here in front of the iconic and historic Royal Palace in the capital of the Kingdom of Wonder, Phnom Penh, Cambodia. And at the time of filming, I have had the privilege and pleasure of calling this home base as a digital nomad for close to 7 years now. It has definitely been a critical factor in relation to my latest success that also allows me to gather literally hundreds of solid questions each and every month on the topic of becoming successful at online marketing, sales, servicing, and every new meeting of customers. So whether you're an online teacher, coach, or some other type of ambitious professional in a different industry who is completely serious about going solo in a successful endeavor on the internet, I've got a great answer. Even you. Coming up in this video, it's with me, sorry. Yeah, I'm scripted, but not for long. And even though I'm easily reading from a script right now, you heard it right here once again. There's no fluff here, my friend. So forget all about watching any upcoming regular video of myself in a rented Bugatti, passing out stacks of fake Benjamin Franklins to gullible strangers who stage actors in an effort to sell some sort of pie-in-the-sky dream to others, for the sole purpose of ripping them off of their hard-earned dollars for strictly my own undeserved selfish and corrupt benefit. There's simply no need for hurtful lies, since with my help, you will be able to go solo successfully online and become a fulfilled and highly paid professional in your chosen field who enjoys a comfortable way of life, even if the cost of living in your area is higher than mine. So let's move on now to the next frequently asked question of interest. No scripts allowed!
How do I go solo? This is a very popular question. I've been asked it many times since I've been coaching people in different industries to go solo. And I'm sure most people want to go 100% solo. Some people just want a side hustle, and it's understood. But how do you get it all started? It's one thing to think about it, but it's another thing to actually go ahead, put the work into it, the clever work, and do it. Well, above and beyond all else, in the beginning, you need to have a strong foundation, okay? You don't want to have to go back later on and correct so many mistakes. And that's why people hire coaches, so they can do their best to get the job done right the first time. Make sense? So, in this video, I'm going to answer the question, and if you haven't already subscribed, do so now, because I'm just getting started here. There's going to be so many frequently asked questions that are going to help you to put together your own e-business, no matter what industry you're in. As long as you, of course, can market your product, digital product perhaps, service online, sell it online, service, and you can of course renew customers online as well. So you need that strong foundation. It's so important, and in order to make sure that you get that done, you need to know who you're targeting. Okay, now maybe you're coming from some industry, okay, and you've been working for a company. Now you want to go solo. Okay, so the first step, you have to know who you're targeting. What's your specialty? That's what this particular target market is gravitating towards. It's what you specialize in. And most of you, perhaps you watching even, are a servicer of some sort. Maybe you're a graphic designer, a web developer, a coach, an online English teacher, any language teacher. Okay, now you want to go at it alone. And it takes time to build, but you need to know who you're targeting, and you should, niche down, which of course means narrow your niche if needed. You don't want to go for everybody who is interested in buying a pencil, because everybody has tastes. specific needs, wants. And you want to go for a very select group of people. And that just increases your chances of getting more orders. So you need to know who your niche is, and of course what your specialty is, because that's what your niche your people, your target market gravitates towards. Okay? That's really important. I've had a lot of people as well, come at me saying, hey, do I need a website? Well, if you've ever bought online, like I know there's Google Play and what have you, where you can buy apps, all sorts of stuff, but you normally go to a website when you buy something, and like even people who sell on Amazon, not all of them, but a percentage of them have their own websites. It just makes your company look more credible. But you don't have to have a website. That's something you're going to have to decide. Okay, so how do you go solo? Well, again, you need to know what your niche is, your specialty, and who your target market should be, right? And narrow your niche if needed. And there's ways to go about doing that. And I've got a lot of great ways of doing that. And, this is what I help my coaching clients with who don't know. You might already know because you've been working for a company, you know your role, maybe as a salesperson, marketer, and you know exactly who you should be going for online on your own because that's what your company goes towards. So there's that as well. But that always comes first. You have to know that because if you make a mistake, you're not going for the right people or you're going for too many people, and you've already put together your sales funnel, well, then you'll have to go back and redo your sales funnel and talk to that one specific type of person. So I mentioned sales funnel. And yes, you need a sales funnel. Whenever you buy something, you're going through a funnel. Okay, think of a funnel, right, like this. Okay, all the sand goes in the top, and through the bottom, right, ekes out the sand that graduated, that went through, that didn't get like stuck in there somehow. It's just a quick analogy for you. But yes, you need a sales funnel. It can be a long or short funnel. It really depends on what you're selling. And there's principles behind it, behind online marketing. And really the same principles apply. It doesn't really matter what you're selling, like what service. You could be an online coach, an online teacher. Okay, yes, different types of business models. Graphic designer, illustrator, content writer, ghostwriter. But it's the same principles that come to putting together a winning sales funnel that allow you to churn out sales. But what needs to go into the top? And that's members of your target market. So there's pay-per-click marketing online, and there's organic marketing. Organic meaning free. So you can have social media accounts set up, such as LinkedIn, Facebook. And you need to build an audience, and that does take quite a bit of time because they have limits in terms of how many people you can connect with, request connections with, and follow, request friendships with in a short period of time. It takes a lot of time, and you want to make sure that you're requesting connections, for instance, with the right people without spending a lot of time at all looking into their profile, if at all. It's hit or miss a bit. But the thing is, if you request connections with 1,000 people over a certain space of time, okay, a percentage of all those people are going to fit your target market member description, okay, and a certain percentage won't. And then a percentage of all those who do will actually approve your connection requests, talking about LinkedIn here. And a percentage of all the people who are considering approving your connection request will look into your profile. And that better look professional enough, right? Because remember, everybody's always thinking, what's in it for me? It's not about you, it's about what you can offer them. It's what's in it for them. Why would they want to be connected with you? So you're building your connections. I think on LinkedIn I've got about 24,000 right now, something like that. That's taken a lot of time, right? I perfected my profile. I perfected my posting, my schedule, the type of posts, This is going to be in a post, this video. It's the second video, series 1 of my channel, Ask Rich. Once again, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do so. And like this video, totally appreciate it. And this takes time to learn. Now, if you have a decent budget, you can get into pay-per-click marketing, and there's different platforms that you can do that on, such as Facebook ads, which is a popular one. There's Google ads, right? The content and search network, and more. Pinterest even has a pay-per-click ad function to their app website. Now, you need that following, right? It's really important, because if nobody knows about you, it's like your website, your app, is in the desert, the middle of it. Nobody can find it. It's useless. Okay? And you can't rely on others too much, like going into their Facebook groups, trying to pull from their groups, right? If you're targeting the Chinese, going into WeChat groups, trying to pull them to your friends list, and it's an easy way to get suspended. I use WeChat more for not prospecting, but once I have the prospects, buttering them up. Okay, getting them closer to the point where they become a client, answering their questions, even doing some demo classes with my other gig. But yeah, you need the fan base, and that takes time to grow. And that's why a lot of time it's good to get into pay-per-click as well and become more proficient at that, so you can get some quicker action and more people flowing into the entrance of your sales funnel. You know what I mean? Faster. So it needs to be really high quality, your sales funnel. And a website normally makes up a big portion of the sales funnel. If you're going to get a website, develop it. You're going to need a web host, one that's dependable, trustworthy, reliable, and I highly recommend Lycosys. They've been my web host since 2014 for multiple websites, and they've never let me down. Great servicing, you can always reach them, in competitive pricing. So you're going to find a link within the description for this video. All you need to do is click it if you're ready to get started, and you'll arrive here. And it's very simple. Before you even buy, you can click support and submit a ticket, okay? And you can ask any questions. Because you're coming through me, they will actually go ahead and install the content management system for you. WordPress, most likely. That's what I also highly recommend. And all you need to do is purchase the web domain along with hosting package A. And that's what they would recommend as well at first, which is the minimum in terms of what you're going to pay for the hosting of your website. It's very reasonable in price, so you can check it out. But first, just submit a support ticket on the site right here after you click the link within the description of this post. And again, like, they've worked wonders for me. It's just so important not to go uber cheap when it comes to web hosting. Otherwise, your website's going to go down far more often. Mine hardly ever goes down. And not only that, they're impossible to contact if you need some support, because sometimes some technical stuff you can't figure out, and it's their job to do that for you. There's some updates that need to be done as well. Again, there's no need to go with a different web host. These guys are based in Hong Kong. They do a great job. They're not going anywhere. And again, I can't say anything bad about them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been with them since 2014. So there you go. You got the link. All right. Back to the episode. It just also helps to build your confidence. So you can rely on that sales funnel. You don't have to be there. They flow through it. Okay? It's like on autopilot for you. You have autoresponder emails that go out, and you're just there to basically answer messages, right? Get them closer to buying, doing any demos, consultations. You're there for that. After order servicing. So you've got the audience. You need the audience. You've got the sales funnel. Whether or not you have a website, You need a sales funnel in place, and it's got to be great, right? You want a highly converting sales funnel. And then, of course, you need the sales, right? We're going to be doing a lot of videos, covering frequently asked questions on how to handle, for instance, objections, how to best neutralize these popular objections that come at you all the time, such as how much do you charge? When people ask that too early, how do you handle that without them thinking, you just don't want to give me the rates too quick, I'm not interested? You know what I mean? How to usher out the shoppers, how to know instinctively people will never buy. They're just shopping around and trying to pry information out of you for free. Like, we're going to be covering all of this in the videos to come. You're going to love it. So yeah, you have the sales funnel, you have the sales end of things where you're trying to close that deal. Closing deals is going to be a big part of this series in Ask Rich. Once again, subscribe if you haven't already and like this video. And then you have the shopping cart, right? Order completion. And then you want to follow up, okay, right after, as soon as possible, delivering on your initial promise. Then you can have a back end. Okay, there's the front end of the sales funnel and the back end. That's where you can upsell something complementary to the main thing you're selling in the front end, which could be like a digital product, an additional service, maybe a subscription to a service and a product that the service complements. So yeah, there's a lot to this, but the main thing, when you're asking that question, how do I go solo, is you need to know who you're targeting and, of course, what your niche is. Have you narrowed it as much as you can, but not too much? And this, of course, is your specialty that makes you special, that makes people want to come to you, okay? If you're selling a digital product, what makes your digital product special? Why do people really need it? What separates it? What makes it different and better than other digital products out there, in the same space? But that is the first thing you need to figure out. And our upcoming videos are going to get more into the details about how to build an e-business, no matter what industry you're in. So I hope you enjoyed this. It was more of an overview today. And the main thing is just to get started. If you're working for a company still, you want to go solo 100%, well, focus on the first 25%. You know what I mean? Like, focus on just taking that time when you don't have to do anything, or when you don't have to do anything nearly as important, when you're not working, your bread and butter job, okay? Even if you're going to be selling pretty much the same thing that you're helping some company to sell right now, you're taking that free time, as much time as you can get when you're not working on your job, your bread and butter job, and you're putting that time towards learning the skills necessary in order to build an e-business in your space. It's so important, and that's time. Yeah, you might think you're sacrificing that time, but it's essential to do, because nobody's going to do it for you unless you're paying them big bucks, and you need to learn the skills. This makes you less dependent for the long term, and you want to become independent, fulfilled, and highly paid. That was awesome, and I really hope that you get started. And once again, subscribe, like this video if you think it's worth it, and the next one will be coming out really soon. How do I go solo? That gets us started, and I will talk to you soon.
Mommy, I'm going solo.